Proverbs 14:6 says, a scorner seeketh wisdom, but findeth it not. But knowledge is easy to them that understands. And it's looking like Hassad, that oil is starting to dry up a bit. Now you want to approach the Hakim and ask questions all of a sudden. Well, you're not going to get what you're seeking for. All right. Only an election are going to obtain, and everybody else is going to be blinded. I'm going to start by giving all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rachak Wadash. Double honor to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. Now, it was really pointless for Hassad to even show up at these brothers' camp. These brothers are trying to teach. You're on their foundation. And, you coming in the spirit that you came in, only shows and proves your character, the type of man that you truly are. You can't try to manipulate us with this, fake, humble approach that you like to take. Like you're trying to be a genuine, sincere brother that's trying to get to the bottom of things. Nah, you got evil intentions, my man, and it shows. All right. And the things that you're trying to question us about, if you can't see it, that's because you don't have enough oil in your lamps for that ointment for your eyes to be able to see. You're having trouble seeing, my man. You might want to go and get your eyes checked out and send up some prayers, all right, to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for you to spiritually get your spiritual eyes checked. Because if you can't see that you're wrong on Ezekiel 38 and that you're also wrong on worshiping Yahushai, then you just simply not of the elect. Because the elect don't have a problem seeing the truth. The election have obtained it and the rest were blinded. Why can't Jake see it? Because you don't have the eye salve. So you're in need of some oil. But the sentiment echoing throughout the church right now is go you to the sellers and buy. So let me start with that. This is Matthew 25. And I'll start at 1. It says, then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And this is what we're all preparing for. We're preparing to reunite, all right, with the bridegroom. All right, we're waiting for him to show up. And when he shows up, we have to be adorned, prepared. And 5 of them were wise and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. So these were the men who didn't prepare themselves. These were the men who, they took some oil, but they bullshitted with the oil. They went out there and focused more on the gimmick side of things to attract people to their ministry. They spent wasted time debating people for popularity. Just align themselves with guys who are clearly not in the spirit. They spent a lot of time not self-examining themselves, whether they be in the faith, just straight arrogance and pride, no humility. And that caused a lot of that oil to steep out. It says, but the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, behold, the bridegroom cometh, go you out to meet him. All right, Yahushua is pulling up now. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. Right? They made sure that they still had oil. They still had the ointment. They still had the unction. Which is what? What is that unction? Let's go to real quick. Let's go to 1 John. First John 2:20, it says, but you have an unction from the Holy One, and you know all things. I have not written unto you because you know not the truth, but because you know it, and that no lies of the truth. All right, and that's how we know the spirit of truth versus the spirit of error, because we have that unction to know. And what is that unction? From the Greek word chrisma, and it says unguent or smearing, figuratively, the special endowment chrism of the Holy Spirit. Anything smeared on, unguent, ointment, usually prepared by the Hebrews from oil and aromatic herbs. Anointing was the inaugural ceremony for a priest. So we have a special endowment of the Holy Spirit, and that's that oil. And these dudes, like the guys we're talking about, these were dudes who separated themselves, sensual, not having the Spirit. And you seeing them spiraling over the course of time. The pride went through the roof. Yeah, they're more popular than ever. They got all these numbers. They're making all this money. But you're seeing spiritually and their doctrine is spiraling, is waxing worse and worse. All right. You don't have to worship Yahushua. The Russians are going to be ruling for a certain period of time when we come back down from the chip, the cloud, the chariot. Right. They don't believe that we're going to have everlasting life. You're still going to be sacrificing in the kingdom. This is what they teach. You can celebrate what was that? It was recent too. This dude Alizar, man. Was it Memorial Day? It was one of those days. One of the American pagan days. And this fool Alizar, now I have to say that, he said that you can actually worship, you can actually celebrate. When years ago, he was saying that if a brother happened to make a turkey sandwich that happened to be made from Thanksgiving, you pray over it in the name of the Lord, he'd be liable to put you to death if we was in the ancient world. That same guy. So these dudes in the spirit have been spiraling, and Nate too. And notice how, there's some type of camaraderie with them, when back in the day, they used to clash. So these dudes, they might appear in the public eye like they really got it like that. Like you would think from an outward appearance perspective that these men are really men of the Lord. They got a great following. They got all this money flowing in. Their leaders are fully charismatic. They join in all these different platforms and podcasts and having all these interviews. They got their own little brands. But that's all to cover up for the fact that these dudes are lacking in the spirit. Spiritually, they're naked. They're wretched. All right, and that's these foolish virgins who don't have the oil. All right, and even Nate years ago, he had that dream that he lost the oil, and right now, you can see he doesn't have the oil. All right. This is what we're seeing with these dudes. This is why they're waxing worse and worse, because they're operating off of fumes. It says, "And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out." And that's, hey, when you all of a sudden want to come to the camp because you want to gain some type of clarity on something that you're conflicted about, because out of pride, you think that you're right, but you want to confirm that you're right by trying to ask questions. If you really know the truth, there shouldn't be any questions. Otherwise, it's just controversial strife, rivalry, debate, which is not leading nobody anywhere. So the foolish said, "Give us of your oil." All right. Hey, can you answer these questions for me? Maybe I just don't know. Maybe you can teach me. Maybe you can enlighten me. Even though he's being a serpent about it, that's the spirit that Hassad was coming in, and the brothers read it off the top. All right. He couldn't pull that on them brothers out there. "Give us of your oil, for our lamps are going out." But the wise answer, saying, "Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but go you rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves." All right. So you on your own, you got to go and get that oil somewhere else. We're not going to give you any of our oil. All right. And you wasn't wise to use up what oil that you did have. Proverbs 21:20. "There's treasure to be desired, and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man spendeth it up." Let me get that in the Amplified. It says, "There's precious treasure and oil in the house of the wise who prepare for the future." Right? Who prepare for the future. Because, what's going to happen in the near future? The bridegroom is going to pull up. And if you're not, if your lamp isn't trimmed, meaning it's not prepared, it's not adorned with that oil, then you're going to be found lacking. "But a short-sighted and foolish man swallows it up and wastes it." Yeah. Wasting it on all these debates. Getting into that Edomite scholar debate spirit. Now you starting to appear like vocab. You trying to learn your vocab spirit. So these dudes are, they're losing it. They're spiraling, man. All right. And when you let's go to Revelation 3. And I'm going to start at the 6th verse. Revelation 3:6, it says, "He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches." And it says, hold up, nope, not let me jump down. Yep, here we go. The church of Laodicea. All right. Now, we all know the history about Laodicea. That community, they were wealthy, and they used their wealth to rebuild their city because it was a bad earthquake that took place, and it actually destroyed their city. But the people that lived there, they had enough resources to be able to rebuild it. So when it came down to the ministry, they wasn't on fire because they put all the confidence in what they had. Like we don't, like basically their mind was on earthly things and not on the things of the heavens. So they wasn't on fire like the church of Smyrna, even though they were known for their poverty, but they were actually rich in faith. Okay. They was on fire, man. So it says, Revelation 3:14, it says, and unto the angel of the church of the Laodiceans write, these things saith the Amen, the faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of the Most High. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would that wert cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. Because thou sayest, I am rich and increased with goods. And that's where that the pride comes in. The pride of the pride of life, which is not of the Father, but is of the world. And some of these dudes, they actually have that pride of life on them. These guys are jealous of our success because, we pulling in numbers. We driving around in Hellcats. Nate rolling into his Passover on a horse. We got all these gimmicks. We shooting all these videos. Self-glorification. And have no need of nothing. And knowest not that thou art wretched. But we see in the spirit that these dudes, despite all that they got going on, in the spirit, they're totally lacking. All right, they're in dire need of some ointment because they're looking bad. Their doctrines got all kind of holes in it. It says, and knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked spiritually. All right, spiritually. Y'all need some oil, man. We can see past the gimmicks in the code of personalities, the popularity. We could see through that. You dudes are lacking in the spirit, man. It says, I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich. All right, you need some oil. You need some medication, because you need your eye checked. Your eyes ain't doing you too good. And white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear. Because right now it's hey, y'all looking bad. All right, Christians rolling up, and how are you giving them wins, man? You're giving yourself self-inflicted L's dealing with Christians because you're lacking in the spirit. You don't have the oil. You're losing the oil. Now you want to come and debate us to see if you can get some of that oil. No. You coming in that spirit, you're not going to get anything. The Lord is the one rejecting you. All right? He that is ignorant, let him be ignorant. It says, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see. Yeah, you need your eyes checked. You need some ointment on them eyes because you can't see. Why are we debating about Ezekiel 38? Why are we debating that if Yahushua needs to be worshipped? And debating about strife of the use of words and, come on, man. So You know, you as long as y'all coming in that spirit, especially you, Assad, as long as you coming in that spirit that you in right now, you're not gonna see. You're not gonna obtain what you're seeking for. You're just gonna be blinded to the fact. All right. These this church right here, they couldn't see that they were actually down in the spirit, but they thought that they was up because they got all this outside stuff going on, which is all based on the outward appearance. But deep down, these dudes they were miserable. Okay, they were naked, they were poor, they were blind. Nate, he can't see the errors of his ways and his teachings. And it's pretty clear. Even some of the basic stuff they going off on. So that's pretty much our sentiment, man. All right. We're gonna tell you to go you to the sellers and buy, man. All right, we can't help you, so it would be a waste of time coming to our camps trying to debate to try to get something out of us. It's not gonna work. All right. Psalms 23:5, it says, "Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil; my cup runneth over." And guess what? We're not gonna give that to nobody else. You got to go and buy for yourself. Okay. And it is what it is, man. You know, because you refuse to humble yourself. If you actually was a humble dude, like sincerely, like really humble, who knows? You might have been able to get it. But you know, dude, you're very arrogant, man. Your countenance is haughty. Coming in that vocab spirit. Them scribes and Pharisees, when they rolled up on Yahweh Shai, you could tell that they really wanted some of that, but they couldn't receive it. And you had these men who was trying to, when that blind man got healed, and they knew that he was born blind from birth, but all of a sudden that man had eyesight. Those dudes, that question that they had a hard time seeing that Yahweh Shai was the Son of the Most High, but was trying to figure out how in the hell did this blind man now be able to see? Like who did this? You know, under what power? You know, they couldn't even see themselves that they were blinded. So it's the same thing when it comes to these some of these mysteries. You dudes can't get it because the Lord blinded you. Okay. Yeah, this one right here. John 9:11 says, "He answered and said, A man that is called Yahweh Shai made clay and anointed mine eyes." Gave him some of that eye salve, right? And we could see this spiritually too. And said unto me, Go to the pool of Siloam and wash. And I went and washed, and I received sight. And this word is what cleanses us, right? Now we can actually see. It says, Then said they unto him, Where is he? He said, I know not. They brought to the Pharisees and him that aforetime was blind, and there was a Sabbath day when Yahweh Shai made the clay and opened his eyes. Then again the Pharisees also asked him how he had received this sight. He said unto them, He put clay upon mine eyes, and I washed and do see. Therefore it said some of the Pharisees, This man is not of God, because he keepeth not the Sabbath day. So yeah, we gotta, we gotta find some kind of fault with this guy because we just can't see him. Yeah, we refuse to believe that he is the Son of the Most High, right? Just like they don't want to believe that we have the 100% truth. So we're going to find some fault somewhere, right? That's what they do now. Others said, how can a man that is a sinner do such miracles? And there was a division among them. They said unto the blind man again, what sayest thou of him that he have opened thine eyes? He said, he is a prophet. But the Jews did not believe concerning him that he had been blind and received his sight until they called the parents of him that had received his sight. And they asked him, saying, how is your son, who you say was born blind? How then doeth he now see? It's like they're really trying to get answers. You know, they're really trying to, like, they're concerned. Like, we got to go in and seek answers on this, man. This is messing with our spirit, man. It's like it's messing with y'all spirit. I got to come and approach the, vocab. He keep popping up to the camps because it's messing with his spirit. You know, that we're very stern with what we teach. You know, he's really trying to figure it out. He really wants something for himself, but he knows that he can't. The spirit won't allow him to, because he's not one of us. His parents answered them and said, we know that this is our son and that he was born blind. But by what means he now seeth, we know not, or who have opened his eyes, we know not. He is of age, ask him, and he shall speak for himself. These words spake his parents because they feared the Jews, for the Jews had agreed already that if any man did confess that he was the anointed, should be put out of the synagogues. So, they had to pretty much cover themselves by acting oblivious, but they knew what was going on. Therefore said his parents, he is of age, ask him. Then again called they the man that was blind and said unto him, the Most High, give the Most High the praise. We know that this man is a sinner. He answered and said, whether he be a sinner or not, I know not. One thing I know, that whereas I was blind, now I see. Then said they to him again, what did he to thee? How opened he thine eyes? So these dudes are super blind, and they don't even recognize it. Because outwardly, they know everything. These are masters in the law, master teachers. These men were being called master, rabbi. They was receiving all this respect in the public. They carried themselves like they, had wealth. But look at how miserable and wretched and blind these dudes were. He answered them, I have told you already, and you did not hear. Wherefore would you hear it again? Will you also be his disciples? So if you actually hear the truth and you get it, are you going to follow? You're going to follow now? You're going to believe? Then they reviled him and said, thou art his disciple, but we are Moses' disciple. Yeah, we pushers of the old covenant. We're not with this new thing that y'all pushing. All right, we don't know this guy. But yet you trying to figure him out. We know that the Most High spake unto Moses, as for this fellow, we know not from whence he is. The man answered and said unto them, why herein is a marvelous thing, that you know not from whence he is, and yet he have opened mine eyes. Now we know that the Most High heareth not sinners, but if any man be a worshipper of the Most High and doeth his will, him he heareth. Since the world began, was it not heard that any man opened the eyes of one that was born blind? If this man were not of the Most High, he could do nothing. They answered and said unto him, thou was altogether born in sins, and doest thou teach us? And they cast them out. So they couldn't handle it. Okay. They couldn't handle it, man. Okay. Let me jump down real quick. Matter of fact, I'm going to just finish the chapter. I didn't even think I was going to read this whole chapter, but this is a good chapter because it has layers to it. You could read it for, the story to get an account on, what went down. But you can also read this with you know, a spiritual lens, and you can see that these dudes spiritually, they were totally blinded. And the Lord used an example of physically healing a dude that was physically blind. You know? And this is what we're seeing in the spirit with these other groups, not getting it. You know? But want to have all these questions and want to debate. That's what these guys were doing. John 9:35, Yahushua heard that they had cast him out. And when he had found him, he said unto him, doest thou believe on the Son of the Most High? He answered and said, who is he, Lord, that I might believe on him? And Yahushua said unto him, thou hast both seen him, and it is he that maketh talketh with thee. And he said, Lord, I believe, and he worshipped him. And Yahushua said, for judgment I am come into this world, that they which see might not see. Because Yahushua, he's that rock of offense. He's that stone of stumbling. All right. He's that cornerstone that the builders were disallowing. He's a sign of the rising and falling of many in Israel. He's a sign spoken against. And those guys, they don't want to worship Yahushua. So what spirit do you think they're in, coming back in their lot? No wonder why these dudes can't see certain things. It says that they which see might be made blind. And some of the Pharisees which were with them heard these words and said unto him, are we blind also? Why are you asking them that, right? What are you asking them that for? Yahushua said unto them, if you were blind, you should have no sin. But now you say, we see, therefore your sin remaineth. Man, the Most High was cold. It's like Yahushua was cold with it, man. He was cold with it. His rebuttals and replies to everything that they would ask, it was cold, man. But this whole chapter is a deep chapter, man. Because looking into it with a spiritual lens, you can see how this applies to what we're witnessing today with certain dudes who really can't see. Whether they were paid off to act like they can't see, or whether the Lord literally blinded, he literally spiritually blinded them. You know? So that's pretty much my stance. And Lord willing, this was edifying. I'm going to give all praise to Yahweh Shem Shai. And until the next one, Shalom.